All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another live stream. It's been quite a while since I've done these, but I had quite a few requests, so I figured, what the hell, why not? We might as well do another one. So, smack a like and all that good stuff. Ask your questions, and we're just gonna dive right into it. So, I've been seeing quite a few questions that I haven't been able to answer throughout the week, and so I'm gonna do what I can to try to answer as many as I can. And again, as you guys are just coming in, just let me know whatever questions you guys have. We'll probably push this until like maybe 8:12. Just really does depend on, how many questions that we have today. I know it was kind of last minute, so I just kind of decided, it's just a Friday. We might as well just start doing our live streams again. So that's what we're going to be doing. So I have questions, a lot of questions actually, mostly pertaining to Sony. And a lot of the questions that I've been getting are really like, why particularly do I have like some sort of vendetta against Sony, I guess. To which I'll just reiterate what I always say, and it's no hate for Sony at all. It's more so Sony is really dropping the ball in terms of motion, and they've got a long way to go. I know a lot of people like Sony, fantastic, wonderful, good for them, but I don't really care about brands. I care more so about like, you know, I get what I pay for, right? And so long as I'm getting what I pay for, I'm a happy customer. But otherwise, I'm going to talk about what I see because I think that's normal. So that's really what I'll say there. I will say, though, out of all the Sony TVs I've seen this year, the Sony X93L, that was really impressive. It's just the motion is really awful. And I mean, like, very awful. You don't have to take my word for it. For everybody that has a Sony TV right now, honestly, if it's anything older than like 2000, or rather newer than 2019, like I'm talking 2020 and onward, go ahead and pop in Monsters Inc. if you have it, or even look up the clip on YouTube of like that clip when they're riding on the doors and they're holding on to Boo and they're trying to get her back to her place through the door. You'll see what I mean when I say like motion is really bad on the Sony. Like just and don't do what most people do, like keep all the motion processing features off and then say like, "Oh, I've tested the motion processing," because it's not how that works. Like you turn motion processing on and try this seriously. I mean seriously do this on any Sony 2020 and up, okay? You're going to see the worst motion artifacting you've ever seen. And for me, it's only getting worse as I pay more attention to this, and it's really starting to become vexing almost because it's like they have it right, like the picture on the X93L, the picture on the A95K, beautiful picture, but they're not delivering the motion to match, and that's where we have a problem. And that's where something like the LG G3 comes into play, being way better. Like by like leagues, because it's not doing the whole I'm going to give you a good picture and crappy motion thing. It's just I'm going to give you a great picture either way. So that's what I would say to people who maybe feel put out about the whole hey, why do you hate Sony thing. I don't. 9 times out of 10, my videos are shot with a Sony camera exclusively. Especially when it comes to cameras, I'm definitely a Sony pony, which is why I never review actual like cameras, because I know I can't, because I am biased as hell. I don't care about a Canon, I don't care about a Nikon or any of that other crap. I want me a Sony, and that's it. It's just I've got all the lenses for it. Like there's just no way I would ever go with any other ecosystem. So if you think I hate Sony, you got to think again on that one for sure. All right, so what's going on, the Christian conservative man? Thanks for stopping by tonight and for being a member. I appreciate you, brother. What's going on, Craig? Thank you as well for being a member and for again just always being supportive on the videos. You two are really like one of the most supportive in this entire community, and I see you guys, and I really appreciate that. So the Christian conservative, you say, hey brother, on the S95B imitation settings, when you meant washed out, did you mean washed out or washed out? Just asking for clarification. Honestly, if I'm being honest with you, I can't remember exactly what I said off the top of my head, but I do know I literally, before just firing up the live, just got done making some absolutely insanely monstrous settings for the S95B that I can't wait for you to try out. Like, I just got into my creative mode and I was like, you know what? Let's start doing something that we've never done before on this TV. And it was one hell of a eureka moment, I'll tell you that. And so everybody on an S95B is in for one hell of a treat. Like I was sitting there testing it with a bunch of stuff, and I'm going to tell you right now, I'm pretty impressed with the results. I really am. And surprisingly, I kind of prefer it more than some other modes. So I'm gonna actually try to mimic what I did there and some other modes, but you'll see it. It's gonna be pretty crazy. I can't wait to see the feedback on the final result that I created. And that's gonna be uploading after this live stream, so it's definitely gonna be like hella recent. I'm also still working on the HDR always on settings for PS5 that a lot of people are requesting. And I also see a lot of people requesting, what is it, for the TCL that I'm still reviewing right now, the TCL Q7. A lot of requests for HDR stuff. I will see if I can get to that. It really just depends on how much time I have, as far as just life in general. So I'm always busy doing something or other. So making sure that I have the time for it, and then I'll obviously pump that out if I have the time within the review process. Um, so yeah, I don't exactly off the top of my head know what I meant when I said washed out because I don't know what video you're referring to. But if you tell me which video it is, I'll check it out and I'll let you know. And please forgive the little cough here because that is still a thing that happens from time to time on these live streams, but only on the live streams apparently. Ray, what's going on? You said, hey bro, how are you? I imagine is what HRU means. I'm doing good, man. I'm chilling, living life. I can't complain. It's pretty good. So, how are you doing, man? Hope everybody's doing good tonight. Let me know how you guys are feeling. And Craig said, go by the year, not by the product. Every year, a great car won't be the same quality as the year before and the years after. Yeah, and I think that's the good golden rule to remember with a lot of this stuff. When we talk about products, we always have it up in our heads like, oh, every year it's going to be like perfect or it's going to be better than the year that came before it. But that's not always the case. Like I've seen it so many times where and I'm guilty of this. Like every year, once pretty much I'm done with the reviews for all the TVs that came out that year, I'm always like hopefully looking forward to next year. Like, oh, surely they'll do better. And then I can't tell you how many times I'm confused and like disappointed by what they pump out the following year. So it's really like you really got to play it by eye. You really got to like watch them carefully because sometimes it's just a replacement model. It's not an upgrade at all. And I mean, we can see that with a lot of TVs on the market right now. So it is what it is. Now, it's not to say every TV is like that. We obviously have some serious heavy hitters, but yeah, it's kind of how that goes. What's going on, Mick Flores? What's going on? You said, hey, what's up? What's up? Enoch, what's going on? Thanks for being a super long time member here. I appreciate you, brother. Now, you said, what's good, Quantum? The only negative about the X93L is it won't come with a 55. Yeah, I hate that Sony is doing that. And I feel like more companies are doing that to force you to go bigger because they can make more money and nobody's really complaining yet. And they're just trying to kill out smaller TVs, which I think is absolutely absurd because not everybody has a mega mansion that can accommodate an 85-inch television. I just don't understand the push for it. But it is what it is. Very annoying, something that I think should change with time, but it is what it is. So I don't know, man. In terms of the picture quality, though, I do still like what they did with the X93L. I just, again, do wish it did come in something a little bit bigger, but we're going to have to wait and see what happens with that. Maybe one day they get the message right, but we'll see. What's going on, Jose? You said, hey, master. I am nobody's master, just a guy doing my thing here. And what's going on? I do not know how to say your name, but yeah, what's going on, man? I don't want to mess it up. It's like, it's very weird. It's like Flube. I don't know how to say that. But what's going on? Thanks for becoming a member. I really appreciate you being the best part of Quantum TV here, man. So thank you for joining our membership. And if you have questions about where to find settings, they're in the playlist section. And yeah, any questions you guys have me here for about an hour, so just ask away. Akeem, what's going on, man? You said, what's your take on the LG G3? I think the LG G3 is pretty freaking incredible, honestly, as far as highlight placements. And it's really a miraculous and beautiful thing when you have a TV that can really hit almost perfect highlights that like make you feel like you're just watching a next level TV, and that's what the LG G3 does. It gives you beautiful highlights. It does. Colors are great too, but it's not QD OLED, obviously. I really wish like Samsung and LG would just like bury the hatchet and just like ship each other panels and stuff like that, or rather, Samsung ships LG the panels and lets LG make a QD OLED. I'm telling you right now, bro, the moment that's funny. I kind of sound like that crazy plane lady. I just thought of that. Whatever. Random jokes in my head, rent free all the time. But no, I'm thinking right now that, you know, if LG makes a QD OLED, it's basically game over for the entire industry. Like I've really stand by that. I really do think that that's going to be what it's going to be because LG is so good at motion. They're great at highlight placement. They give you a ton of features, all four HDMI 2.0 ports, and every feature you could ever really hope for. Calman ready. I mean, like they have everything going for them in the rightest of ways, and their UI is great. It's not slow, so I think it's going to be fantastic. Honestly, I really do. Shout out to the Christian Conservative. Thank you so much, brother, for your donation of $20. It really does help the channel out, as you know. And you said, wow, great news on the S95B settings. Thanks for the hard work. Yeah, man, I'm going to be giving it lifetime support. So absolutely. I'm telling you, man, look forward to those settings. Like, I cannot even believe that I took what was essentially a dud mode that nobody ever uses, literally ever, and made it something that's like, whoa, like this is actually pretty serious. And I used a bunch of different like theories and color theories to make it happen, and kind of like really getting into my head and the creative space of like you'll hear in the video like what my thought process was, because I do walk through like almost like a tutorial on why I'm setting certain things. But it was a treat. Now it's not perfect, as you'll see, because obviously there are some compromises like with anything. But I think the areas where we had to make some compromises can easily be overridden with some of the steps that I give in the video as well. So I'm really excited to put that video out. Like I cannot wait to see what people say about the new settings that are going to come out, like for sure. So we've got the question coming in from, oh no, it's not a question. It's Simon, what's going on, man? You said the Samsung looked much better. This is why I need a 95L. I really feel like the A95L is going to be more of the same as the A95K, and if the A95K goes on sale, just buy that, because looking at, and this is how I'm drawing that conclusion, right? It's not like just like blind hate for Sony. It's like literally looking at TVs like the X90L and the X93L, I can clearly see like motion has not been a focus this year. And so where motion is not a focus, it's almost like nobody's saying what I'm saying. And so it, I guess, doesn't matter to Sony as a corporation, because if the masses aren't saying it, well, they're not going to fix it. But like Sony used to be like incredible for motion in 2017 with TVs like the Sony X900E. And then we get to like the X90L in 2023 and it's a joke. It's really bad. Like I'm going to start like showing you guys what scenes in certain movies you can pick out. Movies I know like almost everybody would own, or like you could easily find a clip on YouTube of. So, or maybe just send you guys YouTube clips, because the motion isn't going to change either way, and show you like, hey, this is what you put on that TV to assess that motion, because it's probably going to be pretty bad. And you're thinking you're getting an upgrade because you're buying this new Sony over maybe your older one, and it's not how that works. Like they have really just absolutely given up in the motion department, and Hisense is no better, by the way. Like Hisense came out and they were like, oh my god, super fluid, it was amazing, it was like a dream. And then as the years gone on, they're just getting lazier and lazier. Now for the first time ever this year, they've got cheap plastic on their U8 model, which is supposed to be their premium model, and then they're not even buttoning up motion anymore. It's disappointing. Like I love the motion on the TCL QM8 way more than what we have on the Hisense. And then, of course, Sony as well, dropping the ball. It's almost like LG and like TCL so far are like carrying the entire industry right now in terms of motion processing and stuff like that. Now, TCL's got a long way to go in terms of quality control, though. As you guys probably saw in my video, they had some issues they had to fix. Like, they really did. That was not acceptable. But it did end up getting sorted out, but that should not have gone down like that. But yeah, that's what I'll say there. But the A95L, I still remain hopeful that I'm wrong. I I have yet to be wrong when talking about Sony Motion, like literally ever. Like there's never been a year I've been wrong about Sony Motion, and I hate that. Because it just means that they're just keeping up with status quo, making replacement models and not actually innovating. And since I see that they have a lot of the same features like the Bravia cam and stuff like that, they're not really bringing anything new from what I'm seeing outside of freaking crosshairs on a TV. Like, what the hell is that? Like, shrinking the picture down? Like, oh, you're out of ideas. So I don't know, man. It's good luck. I don't know. I hope they do good, but I won't hold my breath there. Akeem, what's going on? You said I currently have the LG C1 and I'm looking to upgrade to the G3. Well, that's hard. The C1 is still a damn good TV. And I mean, like, it's up there. It's like one of those TVs of all time. Like, you want to talk champion, like, the C1 is one of them. Like, you're going to be hard pressed to find a TV that's going to be better than the C1. Like, you know, upgrade is that's a hard term to use. The G3 is great, and it is an upgrade in terms of highlight placement, no doubt, but it's not like the C1 was bad at that either, so I don't know, man. That's hard. That's hard. The C1's pretty amazing still, especially if you use my S95B settings. The imitation settings, forget about it. Like, it was so close to the S95B that I'm sitting there, and then because it's a WOLED in some areas it gets stronger. It was just so, like, so close and so good. Like, I don't know, man. I think you're good where you are, but I mean, you can always, obviously, it's your money. I'm not trying to tell you what to do. Like, upgrade to the G3 is still going to be a great experience. Either way you look at it, really. Um, we've got Stefan. What's going on? You said you pick 75 Q7 or the U7K. Brute Room. Wait, what does that say? Yeah, it says Brute Room, mostly cable. I don't really know right now because I haven't seen the U7K, so I'm going to hold off on answering that because anything I tell you right now isn't going to be like 100%, so I'd rather just wait until I see both. Ah, you said Bright Room. Yeah, because I was like, Brute, I don't know what Brute Room is. Yeah, if it's in a Bright Room, still, they're about the same as far as their rating, so I still got some more tests to do on the Q7. I've got to test the brightness to make sure that, like, in a Bright Room, it's actually hitting 1,000 nits, you know. We saw what happened with the U8K. It did not hit the 1500 that it promised. Still a bright TV, but, you know, last year's was brighter. At least, you know, again, we're talking SDR numbers and things like that. Because, again, 100% of everything we watch is in HDR, so I don't really measure that. And I don't use HDR at all. So that's another problem there. But I'll check it out, see what I can find for sure. 77-inch, by the way. And that's for the C1. Yeah, I mean, a 77-inch C1's pretty killer. That's a damn good deal you got there, man. I mean, upgrade, yeah, that'd be a pricey upgrade, though. Like, especially when you've already got a great TV. I don't know. I would get it if you had something older, like a C10, then I'd say absolutely run an upgrade. But a C1, I think it's still a little too soon to upgrade a C1 for sure. Will you still be doing an updated gaming setting and HDR setting for the LG C1? Much love. Well, right now, I mean, it's really no secret to anybody at this point. I'm going through a very nasty divorce that frankly doesn't have to be nasty since it's not like it doesn't have to be, right? But, you know, she's being vindictive. So I've got to wait to get a lot of my stuff back, and I'm in the process of getting that stuff back, fortunately. But it is a process. So I have to wait until I can get my C1 back and my other TVs and my other stuff back. And then when I get my stuff back, then I can finally get back to doing the comparisons the way I need to do them, which frankly I have the ability to do that, but it's again that there are other things I have to take care of on the back end behind the scenes. So I do appreciate everyone for your patience through this whole thing. I know it sucks for all of us involved. I mean, obviously nobody is going through it more than me with this particular situation, but I still feel bad because I know that a lot of you guys are expecting certain things or wanting certain things. So you know, I'll keep you posted when the C1 comes back. I'll show you guys some videos and stuff like that. But yeah, I do plan on making settings and stuff like that, keeping up with it for the lifetime of the product. The U8G is another one. I still have that one, so it's definitely going to be a work in progress for sure, though. Hey, bro, nice seeing you live. I hope you're doing well and fine. Here's a few quickies. You said, do you think people should worry about burn-in with newer models? And do you think continuous use of subtitles will increase the risk of burn-in? Absolutely not for the subtitle thing. I watch anime, and I don't mean like watch anime. I fucking binge anime like a crazy person when there's nothing else to do. And that can go on for hours or sometimes the entire day if I'm really bored. So I'm telling you right now, you're not going to have any problems with burning on subtitles because, like, I don't watch dub most of the time. So, yeah, there's that. So as far as people being worried about burning, I think, yeah, you should still worry about it if you're falling asleep or if you're like, for example, you're on Crunchyroll and you've got all the tiles on the screen or the Xbox home menu or PlayStation home menu, Blu-ray player home menu or DirecTV home menu, whatever you're doing, just a menu of some sort and you're leaving it there for a prolonged period of time. Yeah, I would worry about that. Otherwise, no. I don't see a need to worry anymore because I've been testing this for years now. Like years. And now it's to the point where I'm not even worried about it. I don't care what I do on it. I'll game or whatever. I don't even think like, oh, I'm with an OLED now. I've got to be careful with the game bar. I've got to be careful with how many hours I game. I do whatever I want. I treat it like a normal TV, especially the S95B. Haven't had even the slightest little flicker of any wear and tear as a result. So, no, I don't think you should worry about that part of it. Should people always update TVs with the latest firmware? Hell no. Absolutely not. The thing with firmware is the best firmware is always going to be the one that shipped from the manufacturer, and after that, everything is basically a gamble because sometimes the software doesn't exactly work in a traditional way. Sometimes things get de-optimized or buggier after doing that. It's just not as good as the first firmware they put in that damn thing, and I don't know why that is, and that's a usual thing. Now, sometimes you'll have TVs that suck and they need updates to fix things that suck about the TV, but usually you're better off not always updating. Like if you're happy with the performance of your TV out of the box, for the love of God, do not put it on the internet like at all. Use a PlayStation or an Xbox or a Blu-ray player, anything else but putting that TV online because once it's online, you're subject then to receive those auto updates, which then de-optimize stuff 9 times out of 10, dilute color. I mean, it's almost like they wait for reviewers to come out and say something that's stupid, like, oh, this is too oversaturated. It's not what purists want. And it's like, that's great, but purists aren't buying your damn TV. The average consumer are buying your television. And if you're going to make a TV, you might want to appeal to the people that are, I don't know, giving you most of your money. It's just common sense, really. But they don't really do that. And as a result, these firmwares basically look like, I mean, look at the Samsung S95B, the fucking roller coaster that was. My God, it was terrible. I mean, now the firmware kind of leveled out a bit now that they're getting harder to find and they're making sales on their new model. But I mean, we had to go through it first, and that was absolutely unacceptable, like for real. But you get what I'm saying. So no. And your third question: do you still think HDR is kind of a gimmick compared to SDR? 100%. It really is not like as good as everybody says that it is. It's just not. It's a freaking glorified highlight booster. That's all it really does, frankly. It's not like I have to just put everything in HDR because sometimes the menus, as you've seen on 4K movies, will be de-optimized as you're going through the chapters and you'll see a pale, ugly little section or like it just doesn't make sense. Like I don't like that kind of stuff. I want like it to be a uniform experience. Everything's clean, everything's cool. And that doesn't always happen. So I honestly, personally say turn HDR off. Make sure you lock in really good SDR settings and you will never need HDR. Like 9 times out of 10, like I explained in so many videos, you're watching an HDR image when you're watching SDR because everybody, and I mean like everybody in Hollywood post production, they shoot in some form of like using a raw camera of some sort for post production editing, or they're shooting in some sort of log format. And that is, again, a high dynamic range way of recording information onto your memory card or onto your whatever you're doing, right? And so they go into post production and they master that stuff already with that dynamic range in mind. Now, people are really trying to make you feel like you're missing out on something, but I'm telling you, there are very few TVs that'll make you have that sensation of, oh, I'm missing out on anything. So far to date, out of literally all the years I've been on YouTube doing this, I've only seen one TV, only one, that made me rethink HDR, and that is the S95C. There is nothing else that comes close to it. Not the S95B, not nothing. Dude, like nothing comes close to the S95C with HDR. that was an amazing experience. That is the only exception to the rule. And sometimes that happens, but that comes down to the TV. It's not HDR itself. So I think it really honestly is a rarity that rarely ever happens. So no, I would just disable HDR and rock with some beast ass SDR settings, because that's literally what I do every time I watch TV. Like, I never even, like, I'll buy the 4K movie, right? And I'll just watch it without HDR on, because frankly, it's just better that way. Like, it's better. So that's my take on it. Of course, everybody has their own opinion and do what, makes them comfortable, but that's what I'll say there. What's going on, Michael? You said, it seems the U8K has been a bit of a disaster this year compared to the U8H. It seems the QM8 has it beat, is what you're saying. Well, the U8K is a bit of a disaster in terms of motion, that's for sure. Picture quality is all right. I think the U8H definitely still has its place, and I think, honestly, it is a solid TV, but the black levels of the U8K, absolutely next level, and that's really where the value comes in by far. Like, it's ridiculous how inky those black levels truly are. QM8, it's got wonderful black levels. Quality control sucks, so you might have to return a couple of units if you get something with some weird defect. Not ideal, by the way. But the other problem is the color red particularly tends to look a little on the pinkish side, and they don't have an HSL or a hue, saturation, and luminance way of adjusting the color management to be able to tone down those things correctly. So you have to sit there with an RGB mixer, changing red, green, and blue channels to try to fix color, which never works the way it's supposed to, because it's a stupid, outdated way of doing things. And it's just a nightmare. So I think if they could take from each other's playbook, that would be just absolutely fantastic. But we won't hold our breath on that one, I guess, because Hisense needs TCL's motion, and TCL needs Hisense's color management. If they could figure that out, we'd have competition. But who knows? Food for thought there for them. Maybe one of you guys could, let them know, I don't know. We're all a community, so we got to chime off on what we want fixed. Mulliam, what's going on, man? You said, hi, Quantum. Will you review the Hisense UX? Not likely. I usually stay away from larger television sizes. And honestly speaking, right now, I'm not particularly in a position to be able to review a larger television, plus 75, 85 inches and things like that. So it is a pain in the ass, but it is one of those things. So I just, again, going through divorce, you go through this long process, and one of the things she took was the vehicle I would need to transport TVs of that size. Lucky me, right? I know. So I've got to wait for the due process on all this stuff to be decided, and that takes time. And so we just kind of sit here and wait for the process. And that's what we're doing. So I'm just going to hang tight, and whatever happens, happens. I mean, honestly. But I'll keep you posted on other future projects and things like that. QM8 versus U8K, which one for a gaming console? I think it kind of boils down to preference, really. I would lean more towards the U8K because the U8K has better speakers and it can be adjusted to make colors look a lot better, and I tend to like that. But the QM8 is fantastic in its own right in terms of its black level performance, and motion. Motion is to die for in the TCL, so it's hard because it really depends on what you'll value more. Top 10 TVs. Okay, so let's see. That's a hard one. I'm imagining it's top 10 of all time, but I'll try to keep them within 2023. I don't even know if that's possible, really. Let's try to do it mostly 2023, but add in some other ones, okay? So we'll go, obviously, for me, number one on the list is going to be the S95B. That is a damn unicorn of a TV. Absolutely love that TV. Next up, I would have the LG G3. I think that TV is absolutely incredible. The S95C, that's another incredible TV. The G3 and S95C, frankly, in my opinion, are tied. So those two right there are neck and neck. And they're tied in their own way for their own strengths, right? Outside of that, I would say I was really impressed, thoroughly impressed with the X93L, but the motion was really bad. But it is still a very strong TV if you could forgive that. The A95K, that's obviously a wonderful looking TV, but again, the same problem of the motion, and the stand is a little weird and heavy for no damn reason. Don't know what that's all about. Very weird, but it's still a good looking TV. Then there's the LG C3, fantastic looking television as well. LG C2 is a fantastic looking television. The Hisense U8K, the Hisense U8H. I like the TCL QM8 this year. They did a great job, I think. Um, shit, I think we're running out of some TVs. All right, let's see. It's getting a little harder. I don't really like any of the Sony WOLEDs. They're looking worse and worse each year. Never look at Samsung Crystal UHD TVs. Those are just like a joke at this point. I mean, really, like it's tough, but I don't think I'll make it to 10, not unless I go way back to like, going and counting things like the Samsung Q8FN and things like that. But that's pretty much what I would say for those top TVs. I'm not sure if I quite made it to 10, but those are definitely like the best. But there are also TVs I haven't seen yet that'll come out this year, like the A95L. So I don't know what the A95L looks like yet, so I can't really round off the list just yet because I mean, you gotta see it first, right? So we'll see. We'll see what they do with it, but I don't know. Hopeful but skeptical, right? I need a TV, and it has to be KS90 or KS9000 and better, essentially. Might buy the G3. I mean, honestly speaking, bro, you're in the KS8 9000 era, right? So that was back with SUHD. Everything was super sleek. The designs were all chromed out, very sexy, very premium, super high end buyer, and you felt like it. Sadly, on the market now, you are not going to have that same feeling of royalty when you buy a TV. You're going to be like, wow, it's really just like cheap fucking plastic. All right, cool. I guess I just paid like fucking $3,000 for this. It's a salty feeling. So you got to really find the right TV. And I think you're kind of in the right direction looking at the G3. The highlights, fantastic, wonderful, great. But you might want to start at the top of the pedestal, right? And I don't care what anyone will tell you, man. Just being honest with you, the top right now is Quantum OLED. You aren't finding any TV more like just holy crap, right? Like than that, right? It's just it blows your mind in ways you didn't know you needed. And I think that's the most beautiful thing about it. I hope that more people other than Samsung and Sony make QD OLED. I hope everybody does it and they don't go cheap with the quantum dots like Samsung's starting to do with the S90C where it's more diluted than the S95C. Like the stupid. Just make a great product line. I don't understand what's so hard about that, but money, right? But yeah, I think go QD OLED and you're gonna have your mind absolutely blown. And I don't know if you can. I mean, try to lock down an S95B while you still can if you can find them because that one right there is a special TV. I mean, I can't keep track of how many times I've bought it at this point. Like firmware messed things up, I returned it and bought it again. But it's a steady constant. It was always back to that TV because in the end, that TV was the one that I knew that I wanted. So that's just kind of how it ended up for me. And I'm telling you, you're gonna want a TV like that for sure. Akeem, you said I know it's a toughie. I don't know which one. I I guess I missed it. Oh, I see. You were 77-inch with the LG between the G3, and you're looking to upgrade. Yeah, that is a toughie, man. You got a 77-inch C1. That's definitely hard to put down or look past or whatever. What's your favorite TV for streaming and sports, particularly football? That's a trick question. I don't watch football. I'm more of a combat sports kind of guy. So yeah, I don't really know. If any of you guys want to help him out there, that'd be great because I don't really watch a whole lot of sports. Went at Best Buy today, and the Q7 caught your eye. Okay, and you're saying you're looking to get the 75-inch. Well, I'm currently reviewing the Q7, and I can tell you motion's fantastic on the Q7. So if it caught your eye, just pick it up. I've already made the first settings for it. I'm gonna do my best to try to pump out some more. Just again, it really does depend on time. That's really the factor here that we're working on. But no, it's definitely a good looking TV already. And with what I did to it, forget about it. It's like from the day one specs and the day one settings to where I took it to, it's not even the same tier of TV. It's like you paid at least 1,000 more than what you paid for the television. So like I'm very satisfied with the results that I got out of that. But of course, there's always a higher level for sure. What's going on, man? You said yo. Uh, I don't want to mess up your name. I'm really bad at names, right? I know it's I don't want to mess it up. I know I'm gonna mess up pronunciation, so I'm not even gonna try it. But thanks for being a long time member, man. I appreciate you, man. But yeah, yo, what's going on? How's the Hisense U8K for sports? The Hisense U8K is not great for sports. They kind of have digitized legs, kind of like they did last year. So Hisense isn't fixing motion, and it's just kind of getting worse as it is. Um, He's right. Better Call Saul in 4K SDR looks better than HDR. Yeah, I mean, the SDR versus HDR thing, I don't even know why anyone's still debating it because nobody is still buying TVs for HDR, which should tell you should just disable HDR because it was a gimmick that kind of spawned out of nowhere in like 2015 and just slowly died out now. I mean, they really, really were gaming like the 4K UHD thing, and they were like, oh, 4K and buy HDR while you're at it. And I can't tell you, like, back in 2015, how many TVs I returned because I thought they were broken because of what they told us HDR was supposed to be 1,000 nits and like the darkest darks and the brightest whites and like, 1 billion shades of color realized. And I was like, whoa, like this shit is dim and washed out. Is my set broken? Like, why the fuck did it just wash out like that? And that it only happens when I put in a 4K movie. Then it took me a while, and by a while I mean like almost instantly figured it out, that it was really just 4K HDR is crap and it's a gimmick, and I can't believe that they're legally allowed to sell it without the FTC stepping in because holy crap, what a scam. But I'll digress by simply saying this. It's gotten better with time, but it's not anywhere near as good as a properly calibrated SDR set can be. So yeah, that's me agreeing with you, my friend. Which TV has less blooming and brighter highlights, QM8 or U8K? Less blooming is going to be the U8K, but better highlights is going to be the QM8. So it's kind of like you pick your poison, right? Greatest of all time. Okay, so the Christian conservatives asking the greatest of all time. I'm gonna try to keep that list small then. Greatest TVs of all time? Oof, that's tough. Oh, you're asking tough questions now. Oh man. All right, so I'm only gonna pick three because I'll be here all night if I don't. I still put S95B number one. I've never seen a TV like that before. Very special. Next on the list, I would have to give it to the LG. Oh, this is hard. I want to say the LG C1. That TV is super special too. I really love that TV. It's fantastic. Now the last spot gets very difficult and very challenging, but I just have to give the final spot. Oh, I've got to give it to the Samsung Q8FN. That fucking thing is just a monster, like a brutal beast. Like we will never see again. Like it just will never happen again. It had everything. It was fantastic. So, yeah, that's what I'll say there. Really loved that TV. So yeah, those are the top three I think like ever so far that I've run into. Let's see what we got. In your top 10, you didn't mention the S90C. No, the S90C does not make the cut for the top because the S90C is the downgraded version of the S95 series, and I do not appreciate that because QD OLED is about the pinnacle of television, right? And they're already starting to like dilute color a little bit and like step back from what it was last year where it was like super vibrant and beautiful. And it's not like it's not, but like there's a very clear difference between like the step up S95C and the S90C. I don't like division like that when we're talking about QD OLED when everybody doesn't have a QD OLED. So they're already starting like almost like a division of the classes thing where, oh, if you want the S95 series of this, which is the better color that you were supposed to have anyway, you have to pay us extra. It's really stupid because, again, for the first year model, the S95B series, they weren't on that crap. And so it does well and their heads get filled up and they get cocky and then they start doing crap like that. So no, I think that's one of the things that really upset me. It's a good looking set, but it definitely can't make top just simply on principle alone for sure. Fresh Life Hacks, what's going on? Super shout out to you. I appreciate you being ultra active in the community. I see you in every single one of our videos that we do here, man, and I super appreciate what you're doing. Like, I love the support. Thank you so much. Super appreciate every comment. Thanks for answering all of the questions so far. Here's just one more. Should we do a pixel clean after 2,000 hours? No, never do a pixel clean on your own unless you notice some image retention that isn't going away, because the TV will automatically, after a certain amount of hours, prompt you to do the pixel clean after, again, a certain amount of hours. So don't even worry about that. Yeah, definitely wait a bit more for sure. What would you pick between the LG G3 and S95C? Well, I would probably pick the S95C, me being me, because that picture quality, that quantum dot, is just not, you cannot beat that. It's so good, especially when optimized correctly. Very lovely. G3 is great, but it's still WOLED, and that's really killing it, like, in the long run, as far as, like, its capabilities. Can I use your U8K settings on my U8H? The interface is very similar, very different though. So the only thing that would change is you're not able to use the black level feature and the white level feature. They removed those. So I think that was kind of stupid personally. I really like that feature, but I don't know. It's one of those things where, c'est la vie, I guess. I don't know. Still kind of salty about that. But the core settings for sure can be used and things like that. But I'm not sure off the top of my head how I'll translate because I haven't tried yet, though. But they've mostly left the interface unchanged, if that makes sense, outside of the game zone feature. I need a new gaming TV in limbo between the C2, C3, G3, S95B. What are your suggestions? Okay, my suggestions based on those models in order from best to worst. I would go S95B first, G3 second, C3 third, and C2 dead last. Then you said, sorry, S95C. Then go for the S95C first, and then just the rest follows after that. Hold on, the chat keeps keeps moving. Hold on. Levi, you're asking if I'm a Christian. Yes, I am a Christian. I don't know what that has to do with televisions, but yeah, sure. What TV out right now would you say has the best motion? From like 2023, I would say definitely the G3. Probably the G3 for sure. I think that's probably I mean, that's hard because the QM8 is pretty spectacular for motion, so I'll tie it with that. Those two are pretty good right now. But if we're talking all time, then that would get really messy very quickly. So I'm going to leave it with just 2023. And you said, I see bro just skipped my comment. I skipped your comment because of what your name is. S95C versus G3. S95C. Talk to me about the S90C. That one, that's the one I'm looking at in a 77-inch. What particularly do you want to know about it? Let me know. To this day, I would never understand why the networks like Fox and Fox Sports implement HDR when they have a big event, which it has no benefit. Yeah, I don't understand it. HDR is super overrated for no reason for sure. I love your channel. You share the engineering science of of TV's very good. I only say this because I'm an engineer myself and I love your content. Well, I appreciate it. It's nice to see another intellectual. Appreciate the work that we do here. Most definitely love the comment. Thank you for that. Um, Isaac, what's going on? You said, hi, Quantum. Glad to see you're doing chats again. Most definitely. You said, hope all is good. Can't wait to see the Sharp XLED comes out with the. Oh, wait. Waiting to see if it comes out with the Sleeping Giant. Yeah, I've been hearing about that lately. No idea how they'll do, though. We'll have to see. Uh, Hey, Quantum, I will subscribe to your channel if you guess a number 1 through 5. Nobody has time for that. Um, Welcome to the community, Ernest. Thanks for being a new member. I appreciate that. S90 slash S92C. Will you be calibrating that? There's a very strong possibility that that will happen. A lot of the stuff that I want to do, I mean, again, I'm going, like I was telling everybody, and everybody pretty much already knows, going through the process of divorce is really annoying. So it takes up a lot of time. There's a lot of stuff you have to do on the back end, and there's a lot of and I mean a lot of stuff that has to happen behind the scenes with that. And so it takes up a lot of time and effort. So a lot of the stuff that I would normally be able to do, I can't do. But once I finally get that squared away and moving completely forward with my life, then I'll be right back to totally normal. But because it's like all the little things, like right now, like, you know, she took my SUV, so I don't have my SUV, so I can't transport the bigger televisions from places when I need to source them or get them. It's annoying because it limits me in my ability, and it's very much like the vindictive crap that she's been doing and keeps doing. So not to, again, dump my life story on anybody. It's just I'm going through the process. If you've ever been through the house fire called divorce, you know what it's all about. So it's not fun, and that's what we're dealing with. So it's a process. We'll get back there one day, I hope. It's been brutal, but I know everybody's been patient, and I appreciate all you guys, all my members as well. You guys have been super fantastic. And slowly but surely, you guys are seeing even now we're way better than we were even 2 months ago, right? So we're only going to go up from here. So, just give it a little bit more time. And before you know it, we'll be firing on literally all cylinders again. We've got my Hisense doesn't pull out optical and HDMI at the same time, but my old Samsung did. What is more normal? I don't understand. What is more normal? I don't know what you mean. Hey, Quantum, love your content. I'm an avid movie watcher, and I was wondering which television is better for HDR movies, U8K or the QM8? I would give the edge to the QM8. The headroom for the extra brightness allows you to get better highlight detail where you need it to. Black levels are still very good, and frankly, it's a good looking set. Now, color, that's definitely a weak point. It does need some limit pledge, but as far as HDR goes, is a little better than Hisense. I don't know about that actually because it's hard. It's like I want to say because of the extra highlight detail that you'd have a better experience on the QM8, but then Hisense allows you to go into the color management system and you can get color spot freaking on, and you can really fix all of the ugly inconsistencies you don't like. It's just not going to be as bright as the QM8, which does suck. So you really got to pick, I would say, what matters more. If you like color more, U8K all day, every day if you're a color guy. If you're somebody that likes brightness, then you're going to go with the QM8. Hopefully that was helpful, man. And I appreciate you loving the content and what I do here, man. Thank you for that. Michael, what's going on? You said, I like the 75-inch Sony X93L. I know you haven't reviewed it, so you think it's 1,000 plus better than the U8K. Love your channel, bro. Honestly, bro, no bullshit. I would still say the X93L. I don't need to review it, right? Let's just do what everybody else does, right? Go to a store and just look at the out-of-the-box performance, and since I'm a professional, I've got the eye. I know what I'm looking at, right? You're never going to fool me. And I'm telling you right now, the highlight placement, number one, ace. Black levels were acceptable, not perfect, but they were acceptable. They were much better than the step down X90, so already you're getting that. And just the sheer fact that the colors were pretty vibrant for what they were, I think you'll be happy with it. And again, the U8K is great, but their brightness was some BS this year, so I think you'll be happier with the Sony. But be mindful, I'm not even joking. That motion is ass. If you can put up with that, then great. And that's the part where I get so salty with these Sonys. Every year, I'm not even joking, every year Sony would have gotten like top of the marks, right? If their motion was higher than better than what it is. That's literally all they need to fix. I don't know what their hands are in their pocket for, like they're too cool for school, but that's what they need to fix. If they can fix that, then we have a whole entirely different debate and structure that would work for the television tier list that I put out. But yeah, X93L all day for sure, because U8K definitely still has some problems. And that, I'm telling you, I don't say this unless it's warranted. I was super impressed with the X93L in terms of the sharpness, clarity, and that brightness that they had on it. It was just a really enjoyable looking picture, really it was. And that's literally before I ever touch it, right? Out of the box, which says a lot. And I mean a lot. So yeah. If you could only have one TV, which would it be? Samsung S95B, zero hesitation. Zero hesitation. I've had to face that decision going through divorce so many times. Bro, I literally, when I first moved into my new place, had nothing. Literally, I was in that exact decision-making process. Okay, I'm back at literally square one, like a house fire just occurred, and I need to figure out what I would take. What would I start over with, right? And it was immediately the Samsung S95B. There wasn't even a doubt in my mind that that's the TV I wanted in my life. And so, yeah, that TV, I'm not even joking. If you can still get it, do so. Because once it's gone, it's definitely gone. I think we all appreciate the effort you put into this with with what real life problems you have and the time it takes to create videos. It isn't easy. Appreciate you, bro. Well, I thank you, man. I do thank you for that. I mean, like everybody here watching and listening, like I'm a real person, right? I got my own stuff. We all have our things that we go through and whatnot. And I think the most important thing is just being very honest about it. Like as a content creator, letting you know, hey, like I'm going through some shit. It's rough. It sucks. You know, everybody goes through something. And at the end of the day, you know, we're trying to get back to normal, right? Like anybody who has to rebuild their life from the ashes of nothingness that used to be your forever. So it sucks, but you move forward, you know what I mean? And so that's kind of what I've been doing, and it's been working out pretty well. I'm not gonna lie. I've been one day at a time, right? That's all it is, right? What could I say? I do appreciate you guys still being here and being awesome about it. And you're right, it isn't easy to make the videos, but I do it because, you know, somebody's got to, right? I like the honesty. I like the fun of learning about these displays like we all do. And I really hope that I see a day where there'll be more transparency from a lot of the other AV guys out there. Not to say that they're not trying to do what they do, but I wish like marketing was an afterthought and like the sensationalism and the fake nature, jaded nature of YouTube wasn't a part of it, and we could just be people on a platform where we know what we're talking about in our relative spaces, and we just straight up just say what needs to be said. No punches are held, no favor, you know, given to one thing or another. I think that would be really nice, but we rarely ever see that, so it is what it is. Maybe one day. Either way, that's why I'm the #1 brand in honesty, am I right? I'll do it. I'll take all the hatred from anybody. I still get people telling me, you hate Sony. Meanwhile, I'm over here saying like the X93L is damn impressive and to buy that over the U8K. And I still get told how many times a day. I don't even know. Like, oh, how much did Hisense pay you? $0, my guy. $0. I don't get paid to do this. Not from Hisense. Like, that's not a thing. Not from Sony, not from LG. We don't sell out, man. We just do what we have to do to tell you guys, like, hey, this is not good for your money. And if you want the best, this is what you buy. So I appreciate that a lot, man. How do you say your name, though? Because, like, I'm reading it. I don't know if it's Flube or Flube. I don't know. I really don't know how to say your name. So if you could help me out with that, like, break it down as if I'm, like, learning the English language for the first time, that would be great. because it's kind of slow here. Hey man, do you recommend the U8K for its SD content upscaling, or should I look elsewhere? Any recommendations besides the U8K? For SD content, like 480p, that's gonna be a little rough. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it's not like it's bad, right? Like it's gonna be a good experience, but good ain't great, right? I think when you're talking about like old SD content, like I myself am a very classic movie watcher and stuff like that, like old stuff, right? Like we're talking, I'll watch even old TV series like the '90s X-Men, right? So if you're watching stuff like that, you're probably gonna have to go the route of like, I don't know, shit. I hate to say it, but like your best bet is probably gonna be like an OLED, really, like an LG C3, C2, C1, G3, S95B, S90C. Like those OLEDs usually do better with that older content. Um, just in terms because like the pixel level illumination is key because it's such a low resolution. You need as much sharpness as you can get, and unfortunately with the backlighting system it's just not the same as when you have total pixel control. And that is where OLED really becomes a massive benefit, is older content. I've noticed, like, it really does. I've really loved rewatching a lot of my older content on the S95B. I swear by that TV, and I'm still doing it. I'm telling you, man, that's what I would say. But you did ask about the U8K. The U8K can pull it off though, so don't be discouraged from buying it. Test it out, see if you like it. If not, then try some of the other stuff that I'd recommend. AOA, what's going on? You said Quantum at Quantum TV, the GOAT. I appreciate that, man. Thank you. Grandmaster Yoda, what's going on? You said I love my A80J. Hey, nothing wrong with loving what we own. Walter Sutton, what's going on? You said, hey, can you compare the recent TVs to the X90E? Oh, how it breaks my heart, but I can no longer do that. A part of this whole divorce process was a very messy situation in which my ex-wife lied to me, weaponized her mental health issues, and long story short, destroyed the X900E in the process. So that, the KS8000, the Sony W800B, the FH6030, those TVs were all destroyed courtesy of my ex-wife and her BS lies. So I really just cannot, even with that situation right now, like talking about it even right now boils my fucking blood, because like she literally did all that and ran off with another dude and like all that bullshit. Like very angry about it, because you could have just fucking left. You didn't have to like do all that. So yeah, I'm definitely upset. And yeah, I see like Walter, you're like, oh hell nah, but here's the fun part for all of you men out there who have never been married before, or maybe you're thinking about it. Something called marital property allows them to destroy your shit. And it doesn't matter at all because it's partially theirs, apparently, even if they didn't pay for it. Doesn't matter if they never paid for it. They can destroy it because guess what? Marital property, right? That's the game that, I mean, it's bullshit. I absolutely hate it. Never getting married again. Not playing that game again. I got burned once, like a moth to the fire. Believed every lie. I love you. I don't want a life if it's not without you. All that bullshit. Believe me. Oh my God. I could go on all day, but this isn't the platform that I use for that. So I'll leave it at that. I'm going through some shit when it comes to that, but best believe trust me. I wish I could, but I can't. Do miss those TVs though, because they were damn good, but it is what it is. Do you have G3 settings? Thanks for the honesty. I do not. I only have C3 right now, but I've been told that the C3 settings are working well for the G3. I saw at Best Buy the biggest TV size for the S95B is 65-inch. Yes, that is correct. Have you seen bigger? No, only the S95C goes bigger. So you'd have to step up to the newer model for that. And yeah, unfortunately, they only did come in 65 inches because it was still very expensive and relatively new. Uh, Walter, you said, glad she didn't hurt you. Oh, please. No, she did that too. Unfortunately, I didn't get out unscathed. I got very hurt in the process in a lot of different ways, man. When I tell you, man, I'm not gonna lie. I learned a life lesson and a very valuable one. Be careful who you trust. Be careful about the red flags you allow. And I'm gonna tell you right now, like everything isn't always what it seems, right? It just isn't. So for me, I really had to learn that the hard way. She was a lesson I needed to learn in my life, and I fucking learned the hard way, didn't I? And lesson learned. Cool. Got the message. So that's, it is unfortunate, but we'll rebuild ourselves back up and we'll get back to where we were. You know what I mean? And the channel will be right back to where it was and even better. So I appreciate you guys for rocking with me and dealing with all this crap with me too. I mean, and it sucks that I have to come on here and publicly say this and say, oh, this crap happened and she did this and I don't have this TV anymore because of this thing that I went through with her. And like, trust me, it sucks to have to admit that out loud because, you wouldn't want to have to admit that for what was supposed to be your forever, but that is how it works. So it is unfortunate, but don't worry. There'll be more TVs. There'll be better things on the horizon. And I'll be right here every step of the way to help you guys however I can. Molium, you said, sorry, bro. Sorry, man. No worries, man. So is upgrading my TV worth? So is it worth upgrading my TV because mine is working fine? I mean, it ultimately does depend on your comfort level with a lot of this stuff. If you're not comfortable upgrading your TV, then I'd say no, don't upgrade. Because, like, if you've got a good TV and it works fine and you're happy with what you see, then leave it as it is. Because a TV is expensive nowadays. Why not? I mean, hell, everything's inflated enough as it is. The last thing you need is to make an unnecessary purchase. Hell, that's like a good portion of the reason why I even do what I do on YouTube here. It's like, hey, listen, like, we don't need to be overpaying for crap. Like, that's just not what we ought to be doing these days. So, yeah, I would say absolutely. Just keep it the way it is if you're happy. G Lau, I hope I said that right. You said, why is the S95B better than the S95C? Is the S95B QD OLED? Do you have calibration settings for the S95B using the latest software? So I'll try to go through this kind of one by one. So why is the S95B better than the S95C? The S95B targeted more aggressive levels of saturation. Post reviews and stuff like that, they came out with tweaks and stuff that didn't really favor as much purity behind the vibrancy, so colors were slightly diluted. Only exception to that is when you hop into HDR. HDR is way better. I have a comparison between the S95B and the S95C if you want to see exactly the differences, so you don't have to guess. You can see it all in real time. And yes, the S95B is a QD OLED. I do have calibration settings for both the S95B and the S95C. The S95B is rocking somewhat of the latest firmware. It's on 1430. That's the last firmware that I used. And the latest one, from what I hear, is 1444 or something like that. So hopefully that helps. You said my X900E is going hard. Is the X90L worth buying? Hell nah. Like, the X90L is literally dog water. Like, if you compare it to your X900E, you're going to be laughing at the X90L. Like, absolutely going to be laughing at it. And I would think about testing the X90L, and I'm still kind of thinking about it. But I already know people are going to complain, like hella complain, because it's a trash-ass TV. Did not take me long to see that at all. Standing right there, all the retail lights on in at Best Buy, and I saw all that damn haze. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And then I saw blooming. It's terrible. It's not great. The X93L would be way better. Like, way better. Like, that's the one that you get, because I don't even think Sony's trying if you're not coming in at that level. But yeah, I mean, who can say, right? I know your X900E would do better, though, for sure. Let's see. C3 or SC3, bro? I feel like C3 would probably get the edge a little bit more. But that's kind of hard, though. That's kind of hard, man. I'd probably go, I'd have to give that one to the. That's hard. C3's got better red. S90C is still QD OLED though, so you probably have to give it to the S90C, but by a hair, really. Will you be going to CES in 2024? Well, that honestly depends entirely on how soon I can wrap up my divorce, right? I don't really want to have to like make plans to go to CES and then like get scheduled like a court date to like for like a final hearing or whatever and like no. Just turn this chapter and then I can look at stuff like traveling and doing what I want to do because it's like right now is not the time for that because I don't know what my plans could be, right? Like I could say yes and then like I get screwed over entirely and I can't go. Would be interesting to check it out, some of the booths, meet some of the people there and whatnot. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It maybe I might go. I don't know. Depends on my mood. Um, I'm open to it, right? I mean, after all, I have to pay costs for all of it, so like everybody. So it'd have to be worth it. I'd have to think like there's something worth seeing there. If we have a lot of no shows, then probably not. But I don't know. It's open, right? SJ, what's going on? Thanks for being a member, man. You said, okay, need your opinion. I want a TV for both TV and movie watching and video game use. Should I go with the LG G2 or the C2 or the Hisense U8K? I would go with the G2. That TV was damn incredible. That's all day. Like, I would absolutely do that. G2 is pretty sick. Uh, here's here's that S95B and oh, okay, so you're talking about the settings. Okay, I got you. Rick, what's going on? You said TCL Q7 impressions after spending more time with it, question mark. Mine has broken in nicely, and you said it, you don't know, wait, you didn't know that that was really a thing. Yeah. So with the Q7 right now, it's it's a confusing TV. I love the motion on it. Color is something that I'm not thrilled about. It reminds me of 2016 TV in terms of the quantum dot like performance, but it's still capable of doing a lot of the stuff of a modern TV, so it's a tricky little area. So I'm gonna have to spend more time with it, keep going, and make sure I'm covering all of my bases before I render a final verdict. But so far, so good. I really am trying to push it to see how far it can go, what potential it has, but so far, so good. QM8, U7, or the QN85C VA panel, looking for an 85-inch. QM8 hands down. Dolby Vision Dark looks amazing on the Q7. I'll have to check out Dolby Vision. I haven't actually gone that route yet. HDR is one of those things I rarely ever touch, so I guess I'll check it out. We've got what's up, Quantum? Hope you're doing good. I just ordered the Hisense U7K. I want to know wait, what? I want to know any possibility of you doing a review or comparison with the U8K. Also, what do you think of the U7K in a few words? In a few words, we'll be reviewing it soon. So that's what I'll say there. No real opinion on it until I see it. I don't think it'd be fair to do that. I think if it's like it's been, right, I think it'll be more of the same of what we can expect from Hisense. I think it'll be decent, but I don't know. So I don't want to give you false hope, but we'll check it out and see what it can do. It's 1:30 in the morning here in the UK. It's been good listening to you. As always, brother, thank you. I'm out. Hey, man, I appreciate you for coming out and spending time with us late night. I know how that is, so I super appreciate you, man. Have a great night. What is the S94B? I haven't got a clue. I've never heard of it until just this very moment, so I can't really tell you that. But hopefully I was able to answer everybody's question. We went a little bit over. We're like an hour and 10 minutes, but it's all right. I'll be trying to keep these fairly regular. You know, God forbid something happens where I can't keep up with it. Um, either way, I'm going to do my best to try to maintain, because I know you guys have a lot of questions, so I want to try to answer a lot of them. But that's pretty much it for today's live stream. I do want to thank you all who came out tonight, and really, I do appreciate everything. I've got a couple of questions coming in before the end here. What's going on, Big C Dub? Thanks for stopping by tonight. Do you have settings for the 900H? I don't know off the top of my head. I would have to check. It has been a very long while. Would like to see U7 or Q7 versus U7K. We'll see what we can do. I'm not real sure that that's going to be possible at this point. But again, it all just does depend. And yeah, thank everybody. I thank everybody for coming out tonight and hanging out and answering questions or getting questions answered. We'll be back here next week. If you guys have any more questions, let me know in the comment section. I'll see what I can do to help you guys out. Again, remember, community tab is always the #1 way to get your questions answered through the week. I see a lot of people ask questions in the comments only, but there's like almost zero competition in the community tab, so it's super easy for me to answer everything there really quickly. Versus like comments, 9 times out of 10 just get held for review, and a lot of your comments just get buried. And it's not even my doing anymore. It's because like I had this whole crap where people were trying to cancel me and shit. YouTube just holds every comment now for review, good or bad, it doesn't matter, and I can't turn it off. And it's a part, I don't know, it's some stupid policy that they have or whatever when someone's been targeted or rated or whatever. I don't know, that's how it was explained to me, but I still think it's stupid. But either way, I can't turn it off. And it's really freaking annoying because I have to sit there and now I have to manually approve it without choice, which sucks, but that's kind of where I'm at now. So yeah, just ask questions in the community tab and that'll be way easier for me to help you guys out. If not, Friday, 7 p.m. through 8 p.m. typically is when we do these things. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. And I'm Brandon Honesty as always, man. I appreciate you guys. If you guys want the settings that I sell on this channel, make sure you snag them because I'm telling you, the S95B is about to get a massive glow up for all you guys out there with that TV. Not even joking. I'm going to be uploading that right now after this live stream. So if you want those, definitely join, man. And again, I appreciate all you guys for rocking with me through my difficult times and whatever else. I appreciate you guys. So till the next video, I'll most definitely